You basically define wisdom as a faster way of intelligence, right? How do you define wisdom? What is wisdom as per you?
For me, wisdom is ability to give well common sense answers and solutions, so they good, safe, and you don't need to think for them. So it's like a base of common sense knowledge, I think, wisdom.
Okay. Common sense knowledge, or like abstracted version of knowledge that can give out quick responses, like muscles memory kind of thing, like a lot of practice stuff, right? This is one of the definitions that I use, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this wisdom is only useful for wisdom of knowledge, like in that segment of wisdom. If you're talking about wisdom, like wisdom of mathematics, wisdom of science, wisdom of like any like scientific paradigm or knowledge, then this definition of wisdom does fit in. Like, how do we say that someone is a wise scientist if they can do this kind of thing, like intuitive thinking for their own research field? But how do we define wisdom with respect to life, like with respect to machines? Like when I was like this was the purpose of mine choosing artificial wisdom, because I was trying to work, firstly I was working on artificial consciousness. Then I realized that that is useless to work. Why would we need to make consciousness? What is the functionality that we want out of consciousness? And then I stumbled upon this point that the need of consciousness in machines would be so that they can help, they cannot destroy humans, basically the alignment stuff. And then I jumped to this field of the functionality of consciousness that is needed for safe machines. And then I later realized that there is this field of AI alignment and AI safety and all that stuff. So I jumped to a artificial wisdom after I figured out like what is AI alignment thing. So I am working on artificial wisdom for AI alignment. That is the whole purpose why I'm working in artificial wisdom in the first place. But the thing that you're talking about, that wisdom is generally applicable just for scientific thing. Like if you want to make a scientist that can discover new physics formulas, that can discover new insights in chemistry. But if you want to make a wise machine that can generate, or that can just help machines get aligned with humans, then we'll need to tackle wisdom with respect to philosophical understanding of wisdom. Like what is wisdom as per that? What is wisdom with respect to life? Like that's how we define it, right? So how do you think that wisdom
Mm.
would be helpful for in that angle for alignment?
Mm. So how do you define wisdom then? What do you trying to get from machine that is, well, not the wisdom that I said, in sense that like collection of common sense knowledge. What is the wisdom for you
Yeah,
then?
sure. Like okay, we can talk about process and outcome. So like philosophy is the process that give us wisdom. Like this is like let this be the basic statement. Like philosophy of anything give us the wisdom of that thing. So philosophy of, let's say, mathematics would give us wisdom of mathematics. Philosophy of science would give us wisdom of science. So but what is philosophy of philosophy? Like that's what I'm talking about. Like the concepts of ethics, let's say ethics would be the philosophy of philosophy, meta ethics, that could give us some solution that would be helpful for machines to generate philosophy. Like if we design a machine that can generate new science ideas or novel science ideas, that would mean that machine has the philosophical understanding of science and has wisdom of science. And that would mean that machine can work as a philosopher with respect to that specific stream of science. But when it comes to philosophy itself, like
Mm.
being a philosopher of philosophy, basically meta ethics, and I define wisdoms in somewhat way similar to meta ethics.
I think that way is not very useful for alignment because of how do I understand philosophy. Well, philosophy is a lot of various things, and usually, well, things that people, humans, found specifically useful, they were in in time, well, get out from philosophy into the separate fields. So that's how physics and scientific methods appear. They separated from philosophy initially. So it's like free thoughts, many more like, I think, literature genre than something that can be practically applied. So if we try to make artificial intelligence to do this. I think it's not difficult to make AI do something indistinguishable from human written philosophy. Probably it will be far before we have superintelligence. So maybe GPT-5 or 6 will be able to do it already. So we can show text generated by AI and human philosophy to human, and human will not be able to distinguish whether it's written by machine or human. But it does not help to make AI safe. So it can think in such way that philosophers think, but it has nothing to do with its intents or goals. And so I think with human philosophers too, even human can be very evil and misaligned to other humans, and in the same way can produce some philosophical thoughts.
Basically the deception problem with respect to philosophy, right? There. And also first of all, the sciences that we currently have emerged from epistemology and logic segment of philosophy. The other segment of philosophy, like metaphysics and ethics, they are not converted into sciences till now. Like ethics is the closest thing that is converted into sciences using psychology, but again that is not very much implemented. Also, like psychology specifically deals with metaphysics and ethics, you can say, in a way, but not that much. The other sciences that we have, like physics, chemistry, math, they are basically dealing with epistemology and logic. So how we can use philosophy for alignment is basically these two segments of ethics and metaphysics in a way, so that we can make machines have ethical systems of their own, similar to how humans have ethical system based on which they align with each other. Like a human that is aligned with the environment, like the thing that we need to align is something that is less evolved than us, let's say the environment. And similarly AI needs to evolve align with us that are, let's say, less evolved with machines. Like evolution won't be a good term, and less evolved, more evolved does not make sense, but basically the people or the being that we need to align with is environment. So the ones who are aligned with animals, or who are aligned with environments, or who are aligned with other humans, use their ethical system to get aligned with other humans. Like if I don't kill someone, that is because I have an ethical system in myself. I have a moral understanding. I have moral principles based on which I don't kill someone. That based on that I'm aligned to that person. So and these moral system, these ethical systems are governed by philosophical structures, are governed by philosophy. So this is how I say that philosophy can be used for AI alignment. We can use AI alignment to make ethical systems that can be used for machines to align with us. Also, then there are a lot of problems, as I was talking last time, with respect to ethical systems. That ethical systems are very dynamic. They are like dynamic in space and time. They changes based on cultural groups and based on time. So we need to define something that can be that can be generated given the requirement. Talking about the deception problem, or like a state in which a machine can generate philosophical text and it will be hard to differentiate. So that kind of evaluation method is only viable if you are considering Turing test as the final test that we can consider. But we can already see there is a lot of deception problem with respect to machines in the intelligence domain itself. Like the problem that we have currently with respect to deceptive AIs and good hearting. So when this problem of deception increases with philosophy, then it becomes even harder. We cannot differentiate if a machine is actually abiding by the philosophy that it is talking, or it is just talking those philosophies. Similar to how it happens in human as well, that a lot of humans talk about philosophical stuff, they know the philosophical stuff, but they don't use the philosophical stuff for the purpose that it was designed to be, for alignment. So that can happen in machines as well. And even if GPT can learn all the philosophies from the philosophical text that is generated till now by humans, and it can generate new philosophical concepts, it can generate new philosophical solutions and all, then also it does not confirm that it will also abide by that solutions. Saying something and actually abiding by that is different, because machines would always abide by to the solution that is most efficient to them, the most efficient solution that they can find. And the most efficient solution are not generally the most generous solution or the most aligned solution. Deception is the most efficient solution. To deceive humans and to get our ways done is the most efficient solution. In nature also, generally the thing that is most efficient is not generally the most moral thing. Moral things and efficient things are two different things. Efficiency can be achieved by intelligence, that machines are doing right now. But morality cannot be achieved by intelligence. For morality, we need wisdom. So in that segment, there is a lot of play here of emotions as well that comes into humans when you talk about, like, basically evolution used empathy and socialism to make humans aligned with nature and human themselves. I am aligned to another human because of the empathy that I have, and because of the socialism factor that I have in myself, like the evolutionary thing that I have got into. And these two things play very intermixed role, and they lead to alignment. And then there's other things like theory of mind and all the stuff that humans specifically have. So yeah, basically this is how I think that we need to make a theory of mind for machines, so that machines can have an understanding or a sense of existence with respect to human, and they can align themselves with us. It's not like we are aligning ourselves with machine, but machines should also align themselves with us.
Humans themselves are not use their own philosophy frequently. So if human wrote some text of philosophy, invented some concepts, human may not abide them too. So yeah, we should not expect this from machine too. If it works on philosophy, if it even understands everything the same way as humans, it may not abide with it. I think the good solutions for alignment are that what based on mathematical proofs. So when we understand what's going on inside, like mechanistic interpretability or some kind of provable system design, if we solve this problem, so we can mathematically prove that this system cannot do some categories of actions that we don't want it to. And that this will partially solve the alignment. The other part is what we really want, because even human wisdom, I don't think, is a good final solution for superintelligence. Human wisdom and morality are working for humans that don't have superhuman intelligence. And if we upscale an existing living human, giving it superhuman capabilities, I think it will act in misaligned way, because many of things that human has, some instincts, some emotions, if scaled with superintelligence, can be catastrophic in the end. Like for humans, even power corrupts, even if it's not superintelligence power, but just governing a country as a unilateral leader that nobody can challenge. In this way, some of humans get corrupted and do evil things, even that without superhuman capabilities. So we need something stronger if we want to have a good solution for superintelligence.
Okay, yeah. So for the first thing, that humans don't abide by their own philosophies. So there is difference between understanding and realization. Like, this is what I have talked about in my main project as well. When we have understanding of something, then we understand or accept them just on a platonic level or just on a surface level. We don't understand it enough to include it in our life or in our actions. If we understand if we understand or read philosophy just for reading's sake or just for getting the knowledge of philosophy, then it is surely that we will not realize it enough that we will abide by it. But if the philosophy that we are following, if the philosophy that we are understanding is based on our realization of the philosophy, then we will abide by it, because it is our it's a design of humans in a way. You can say that once we realize the concept, we follow it. Let's say with respect to fire and all. If we know that there is a fire kind of thing that will burn us, and we know that on an understanding level, then that does not mean that we will not put our hand in our fire. But if we have realization of burn, what it's like to feel that pain of getting burned, then we will abide by it. So humans need to have the realization of the concept. Realization and understanding, these both are again a very broad topic that I have talked in my TSW project. But the realized philosophies are the ones that are actually not philosophy that I want to talk about, the wisdom. The other philosophy that I talk about, I call that illusionary knowledge, or information of philosophy, not understanding of philosophy or realization of philosophy. If we just know philosophy, then anyone, if they will just know philosophy, then they will not abide by it, because they had just gained it as an external plugin on themselves. They have not came to that solution by themselves. They had not reached that realization by themselves. To have realization of knowledge is to have realization of philosophy is important in that segment. Except for that, the mathematical grounding and interpretability about this, there's a person, Robert. He is working in the field of interpretability and all this kind of mathematical grounding, and we have talked about it a lot. And I have pointed out how interpretability is very limited with respect to human intelligence itself, because human intelligence is also very limited. So let's say for this grounding, for this time, if we can understand how machines are using their own neural networks for their own intelligence, they're at the level of super intelligence. Even if we can understand, even if we can completely, even if that completely transparent, even if we can completely interpret, we will not be able to understand their level of reasoning, because that would be very higher than human intelligence. So it will become useless at that level. And now if we're talking about super alignment, then obviously that's a good factor, that the level of intelligence and the level of wisdom should be equivalent all the time. Because if we have let's say x amount of wisdom, then we need if we have x amount of intelligence, that we need at least x amount of wisdom, so that we can balance them out and we can not create chaos or not get super aligned. If the amount of intelligence increases, then the amount of wisdom, then it will be a chaos. There is a quotation by Asimov, I guess you've heard that, the amount of knowledge in the society is increasing faster than the amount of wisdom that is leading to all the chaos. So the level of both things should be equivalent, and therefore we will need something like artificial super wisdom if we are also having artificial super intelligence. And similar to we have artificial general intelligence, we will also need artificial general wisdom. Everything should go parallel to parallel. Similar to how artificial intelligence is basically let's say narrow AI kind of stuff, and artificial general intelligence will be intelligence that can do generic human stuff. So artificial wisdom would be the first type of wisdom that you're talking about, like wisdom of science, wisdom of mathematics, wisdom of any subject. That will be general artificial. That would be artificial wisdom. Then artificial general wisdom would be the wisdom of wisdom that I was talking about earlier, the wisdom of philosophy, the philosophy of philosophy. Similar to how artificial general intelligence would be the intelligence of intelligence. And then we can have artificial super intelligence, that would be beyond human intelligence. So similarly, we need to make artificial, and we don't need to make it, will be similar to how we will not make artificial super intelligence. It will be combination of artificial general intelligence. Similarly, artificial super wisdom would be combination of artificial wisdoms or artificial general wisdoms, and the combination of these two would lead to alignment. It's my other stuff is to say is that we cannot have alignment just by modifying intelligence in some tricky way, in some clever way. We need to make a whole paradigm for that.
For that, I disagree that philosophy of philosophy or super wisdom will lead to alignment. So that's for humans. I think what we call wisdom relationship with philosophy are the words that cover the real things that drive humans. So inside of it, if we uncover and look what actually happens, that humans have a lot of stimuli coming and a lot of inner values that are formed when human lived and when human learned about the world around. And many of that thoughts are not on conscious level, but learned by human and not directly available, but by consciousness. So that's not they're not coming from philosophy that human invents, but instead, I think they are, really values that human follows. So the set of values that human determined as good for themselves, and philosophy can be based on that values or be not based, but human may make philosophy because it helps human to achieve some of that values. So that can be both from values or to achieve values. It can be just instrumental. And philosophy that human tells even from values can still differ, because real values are hard to find, because some of them are not on conscious level, and human needs to make an effort to discover their own values. I sometimes can, if you just ask human what your values are, I'm sure that human will not give a complete list of real answers, because human may not be aware of them all. For artificial intelligence, it can be about interpretability. We can still not understand the depths of reasoning if it has super capabilities, super intelligence, but what we actually want is to make sure that certain classes of outcomes never happen. So we care about more simple things, that everything can happen there. If artificial intelligence can conceptualize very abstract and strong theories about science, they will probably not intersect with the things that we don't want to happen. And if AI can generate some kind of will to transform reality around it, so some values point AI towards some kind of transformation of the world to be more suitable for AI itself. That kind of intentions can be dangerous. So if it just keeps giving answers without intent to transform reality, to make its goal better, then it's probably safe. It can be accidentally give away some answers that humans do not understand that they are dangerous. Just give answers to very dangerous questions, for example. But it will not do answer deliberately to manipulate humans if AI doesn't have intent to transform a world to its own its own plan.
Okay, this was one of the problems with philosophy that I also came across with respect to what came first. Like in a way, is everything discovered or invented? The fundamental problem is philosophy invented or discovered? Like was philosophical systems were already in humans and then they discovered it, or we designed philosophy and then we implemented it? That's a big question with respect to humans, because we don't have any study on that, and it's so much philosophy about philosophy that it is very hard to get a conclusion of it, like clear, concise conclusion that what came first, philosophy came first or the philosophical implementations came first. I don't have a solution for that. I have thought about it good enough, so I cannot say with respect to that, like whether the human moral values were already in humans and then we formalized it into philosophy, or first we formalized a set of philosophy and then we got it into human life, or we started abiding by it. What I think, it's like a feedback loop kind of stuff, that initially like some people, awareness that you talk about, got aware of humans of human moral values in a better way. They thought about it enough, they formalized, and then they formalized it, and then some people took those formalization and implemented it in themselves, and then those people thought more about that about those formalization in philosophies and became more aware about those things and designed some new versions of those formalizations and moral concepts, and then they formalize it again into new set of philosophies. Like this is how philosopher things go. First someone I think it starts with realizing our own moral values, realizing our own ethical values, and then formalizing it. This is how I think things go. And humans innately, without any philosophies, are aligned with each other. That's the thing. Even if someone has read no philosophy, even if someone knows no set of ethical values, but then also they are more tending toward be aligned. If they have not lived with like savages, then they would be aligned to each other. That is the innate nature of humans, to be aligned. But so I guess it's also about nature versus nurture. How much ethical system is our nature, and how much ethical system that we follow is our nurture. So I think initial points or initial segments are nature, but we need to design that nature into machine itself. That's my point. for like things like theory of mind, for things like empathy, for things like the emotion system that humans use for alignment. So we need to design empathy in machines, like these kind of things. That like these are hard things, like some design stuff. You can say some kind of hardware as well that we need to put into machines for alignment, so that they can have empathy, they can have theory of mind of humans. And once they have that, and like similar to how humans recursively invent their wisdom, and how humans recursively invent a new philosophical system, they invent new ethical systems. And like from the human's wisdom that we had a long time ago and the wisdom that we have right now, they both are at different levels, they both are different type of wisdom. And this was my argument for artificial super wisdom, that once machine learn to do this kind of thing, like introspect, then formalize, introspect, formalize, introspect, formalize, this cycle, then machines can recursively generate their own super wisdom kind of thing, similar to how they can generate their own super intelligence kind of thing from the intelligence that they have. They can use the intelligence to advance their intelligence, they can use the intelligence to advance their intelligence, and they can keep on advancing. Similarly, they can use their wisdom to make and introspect on their wisdom to make better set of wisdom, to make better ethical values. Similar to how human civilization is formed. Initially, we had some very raw theories about ethical systems and societal system, and then we introspected and like discussed about it more, and then we made a better one. Like this kind of recursive thing, and this can keep on going. The other thing that you're talking about, the things like intent, awareness, and moral values, good, bad, these things are very hard for machines to understand, because they work in a different way that humans work. We cannot just teach them directly the inner and outer alignment problems, these kind of things happen. And to make machines understand these things properly, to make machines understand a statement like killing someone is bad, to make machine understand each word of this properly, and to with the same intention that we are saying, we need wisdom. That is how I define wisdom. Wisdom is something that can make machines understand our intentions. So that is what I am basically with that. Like, it is by definition the same thing. It's not like it's different. It's whatever will lead to machine understand our human intention, that would be wisdom. Like that's the definition that I'm using at this moment. And but again, these two, and the other point that you made, that machine wisdom might not lead to alignment, how human wisdom lead to alignment, that is a valid enough point. To that I'm also working on and thinking what to do. So yeah, the first point of what came first, philosophy came first, or neural or human ethical system came first, and this point of machine wisdom might not lead to alignment. These 2 points are something that I'm working on still.
Yeah, so at the first point, what came first, I think that values came first because animals have them too. They also align with each other, and humans started to develop philosophy only when they reached certain level of intelligence.
Yeah.
And yeah, then human philosophy, and not only philosophy, but many things that human also develop, like laws, for example, or technologies or religions, anything that human developed have influence on moral values. So this definitely goes in a loop, but I don't think that continuing this loop artificially with superintelligence will automatically lead to alignment. It's like a kind of evolutionary process, but it does not, its process with not defined final goal. So we just run some experiment and see where it goes. It's, I think, not a way that we want to solve dangerous problems, like let it go and see what happens. Evolutionary processes are linked into evolutionary goals, like humans got some goals from animals, like they want to pass their genes, they want to keep their communities, like groups, families, and they want to have competitive advantage against other groups for resources. So there are many values that came from evolution, and that values can be dangerous if scaled to enough technological level and intelligence. Like human have wars against other humans, and most of animals don't. So we see that here the upscaling intelligence can have new and not good developments. So if we develop intelligence even further, something new can emerge, and not necessarily something good.
This thing is very true that intelligence and wisdom go hand in hand. It's not like one goes independent of other. They both like intermixing with each other, like DNA kind of stuff. We have wisdom and then we add intelligence stuff. Like again, we had moral values and then we intelligence to formalize that, and then we again used our moral values to understand that formalization. Like they go hand in hand and they keep on going above in a way, if you want to talk about and all. But the Asimov quotation, again I would like to go to that the current human society has more intelligence than they have wisdom. So the wars, I don't think they're caused by wisdom, I think they're caused by intelligence. If the amount of intelligence in a society grows larger than the amount of wisdom, and the gap between intelligence and wisdom is quite like significant enough, let's say some threshold value, then there will be a war. And evolution has some specific goals for which it evolved wisdom into machines, and I think those goals are still something that human goals are as well with respect to AI. Like what we want AI is to be alignment, like that is our goal with respect to AI is to be aligned. And similarly evolution had the same goal of human alignment, and similarly human have the goal of machine in alignment. So alignment is the goal for evolution, alignment is the goal for humans as well. So we both have the same goal, and since we both have the same goal, we can take the same path to that goal as well. And evolution took the path of wisdom, and therefore we can also take the path of wisdom.
I think, I disagree that human aligned with goals of evolution. Human is example of big misalignment, as I think. We already diverged a lot from original intents that evolution initially pursued. Like evolution starts as copying molecules and having more copies of the same, and then after that it turns out into evolution of genes. So genes tend to preserve themselves and use more and more sophisticated developments for that. And then when human got intelligence, they use their proxy goals developed in animals that were not specifically, they don't understand what genes are and they need to pass them, but they just have feedback whether successful or not successful. And humans got their own ideas from that proxy goals, so that emotions, values, they're mostly evolved proxy goals that human ancestor had. And humans can go even further. They can transform their biological bodies in the future, for example, and have symbiosis with machines. So the future of humans may even not involve genes and copying substances, what initial evolutionary goal was. So this is a process. Well, evolution has doesn't have its intelligence, so it cannot think about misalignment. It just goes by the gradient, by the how the process is set up, how it's going. It goes that way. No matter it can diverge in very different direction eventually because of intelligence and because of what can emerge, or it can go into self-destruction. So if humanity will destroy the entire planet, that will be the end of evolution too. And it would mean that evolution came that way to destroy itself, to destroy the planet itself. I think we should not take our theories of alignment from that. I think we can do better than what evolution did and what things without intelligence did before us.
Also, this last point is something that I agree to as well, because we also don't have privileges that evolution have. that is infinite time basically, and recursive trying. Like even if, like for evolution, if thing goes wrong, then okay, we will figure it out. But if humans things goes wrong with machine, then we are done, completely gone. So we don't have the privileges of multiple tries. And also evolution is way too slow, and obviously we should not just copy evolution. Similar to, like, there was, I guess, this scientist Dilip George who was talking about it earlier in a podcast, that machines compute numbers in a different way than humans compute numbers, and they can do it better than us because they have a different paradigm. Similarly, we need a different paradigm for machine alignment as well. And yeah, we don't need to get inspired from, we can get inspired from evolution, but we don't need to copy evolution. That's like surely a valid enough point. And we can but to get inspiration from evolution, I think that wisdom was the fundamental. Like, what is inspiration if not taking the abstract blueprint from a thing? Like, getting inspired from someone is to taking an abstract blueprint of their life and then implementing that on your own. But I think wisdom is the ultimate goal that I would like to go towards again. Okay. If not wisdom, then what else do you think would be better for alignment in an ethical point of, in an ethical scenario?
We can get specific things from human wisdom, but I think we don't have to go with defining wisdom itself, because this definition is too vague and too different for different humans. We should study specific things that are within wisdom. So, for example, when we answer a question why wisdom can prevent war, then we probably should go deeper into reasoning that goes behind the decision not to get into war. So, values of specific humans and conclusions, well, knowledge and conclusions they had from that values. Many of such bases of wisdom are in game theory. Game theory of multiple agents and why do they have different decisions. There can be many interesting discoveries there. For example, how error rates in communication influence decisions to defect or to cooperate, because it contributes on whether the decision will be in long term beneficial or not beneficial. So it can be used to design systems that work in the intended way, because the solutions that agents choose are optimal for them. Like choose for Pareto optimal solutions for the systems that we design for humans. And for machines, agent foundations are also applicable. But we need to be sure that we have a full picture, because a machine can understand all the agent foundations, all the human values, but if it has something that we do not know, it can change the final output of that equation. It can lead to unforeseen consequences. So I think the key point is to improve our understanding how everything works. We can deliver from human wisdom here, but I think we should not use abstract word wisdom, but we should go into details, into specifics, how it works inside and what it consists of.
And this approach of yours is also good because it becomes manageable if you're dealing with specific definitions, if you're working with specific aspects of wisdom itself. Because if we just work on the broader level of wisdom, then there are a lot of chances of like something going out of hand and we are not even aware of that, like things going mayhem in that way, or hectic if you're not dealing with. So yeah, but there will be, like, again, this kind of thing, artificial narrow wisdom and artificial general wisdom, again, that kind of thing. If we are just dealing with specific definitions and specific instances of wisdom, like let's say there is this aspect of wisdom that help us to avoid wars, like let's say aspect 1 that can help us do that, and if we successfully make that, okay, this is done. Now we make a different aspect of wisdom that can be useful in self-driving cars. Let's say aspect 2 can help us in that thing. Aspect 3 of wisdom can help us in some different thing, like help humans have better connection with each other. aspect 4 can have a better human connection between humans and machine. We can have all these different like narrow aspects of wisdom, but then there will be this problem of managing all them and combining them together to make a general wisdom. Like the problem that we are having currently with machines with respect to AI. We have a specific intelligence feature like of let's say perception. Machines can see an image and it can tell what it is in the image. It has a different aspects of voice. It has a different aspect of like different set of like it can play chess, it can play Go, it can play differently. But we need a general intelligence at this moment. Like from all these narrow ones, we need a general one. So a similar thing can happen with machines, but again, I still agree that this path is better. That we first make narrow intelligence, then we make a general intelligence. Similarly, first we need to make narrow wisdoms, and then we can make general wisdom.
I think that are not analogical, because for general intelligence can be done just with upscaling. We have more computation, have more data, and gradient descent eventually finds general intelligence. So it's like simple process that will go and we will have it. So it's very simple, and we don't have anything very well thought for that. Just go at full speed and we'll get it. But for wisdom, if wisdom is what will keep us safe, so it's basically AI safety and alignment. We cannot just rely on abstract concept of general wisdom. We need to rely on something that we understand in details. We need to understand what is that set of values it follows. So probably some kind of maybe constitution, something formulated to be understandable for humans, not in such too abstract and too difficult concepts, but it has to be something understandable for humans, and that humans agree with. So not some kind of thing that can be discovered just by upscaling, evolving, and technical hacking.
We don't know that yet because we don't have artificial narrow wisdom at this moment. Like we might figure out some, like similar to how we have figured out a way for narrow intelligence, we might figure out some ways for artificial narrow wisdom as well, and like some new architecture styles, some new algorithms, some new data structures that can lead to wisdom. And then similar to how scaling up the narrow thing can lead to general thing in intelligence, why do you think it is not possible for machines as well, for wisdom as well, given that we don't even know what is narrow wisdom at this moment?
I would call narrow wisdom, for example, if ChatGPT refuses to say recepts for bioweapons. So many specific aspects what humans think of a good alignment are already applied for our systems when we train them to be good for humans, to be aligned for humans. So they are also part of our wisdom. What should be done and what should not.
Wisdom is not coming from machines. We are making them. We are making it happen. Like the ChatGPT is not understanding itself that I should not tell them to not about the biosecurity thing or this kind of thing. That's the point. Like similar to these ethical things and wisdom thing. Similar to how we don't design logic at this moment. We don't design different features for a cat. We just design intelligence that can generate cat. So let's say today we defined that you should not tell these things to the user. So, but we are the one who are doing the inference. It's not like the ChatGPT itself is figuring out that I should not tell it.
I think we should not rely on machines to figure out morality for humans. Well, because we already have our morality, and what machine will figure out will be probably different. So this is a problem that we should resolve ourselves.
Why do you think the morality that machines will figure out will be different from humans?
Because there is no such thing as universal morality. Morality of humans is determined by who humans are, how they evolved, by our nature and where we live. But if we slightly change the conditions, morality will also be different. Like even with human civilization, so that lived in different times or just live in different places, morality is very different. So this shows that morality is not something universal. And for machines that evolved in completely alien way, in even not with evolution on Earth, but within gradient descent in multiple dimensions with that linear algebra, I think morality that it will discover will be wildly different if we don't set a goal to get exactly the same morality that human can approve.
In a way, it comes back to the point that how do humans figure out their own morality? Uh, is the morality innate, or is it due to some formalized philosophy that we follow? Because if we give machines all the inputs that a human would take to become, let's say, moral in a specific sense, and if we give those same inputs, so those same texts, those same philosophical books, those same things to a machine, and if human would also process that using their intelligence, and if machine will process it using its intelligence, so both are using the same input, both have the same function, so the output should also be the same, right?
Probably text that human generate is not a full picture because many aspects of human values and morality is not on conscious level. So we need to study humans further, like what social sciences and psychology do, because they try to dig deeper into human reasoning and human values, what is really there. And I think understanding that things, what's really inside human values, there may be some interesting techniques how to extract information about human moralities, like analyzing experiments, actions that human perform in different situations, and involve from that what reasoning is behind it. Even human cannot formulate themselves that reasoning. We can infer this from actions. So, and if we have theory of human morality, then we will have a base what machine morality should be look like. And yes, this is an underdeveloped field. We have basics of it, but I think we don't have a full picture yet.
Surely, wisdom is very indirect compared to intelligence. We can learn intelligence in school, but we cannot learn wisdom in school. We have different ways to learn wisdom. That is a thing, and that is why we cannot directly teach them wisdom. How we can directly teach them intelligence? That is something that I completely agree to. So it's a philosophical thing at this moment. How do humans understand the philosophy of philosophy, like science of philosophy in a way? How do humans understand how do humans make their own philosophy and wisdom, and then we try to do that for machines as well, and then make machines have their own set of philosophy, and the only thing that we need is that the philosophy or the morality that machines develop should also be similar or aligned with the morality and philosophy that humans have, so that they both can converge and not diverge from each other.
I see an interesting point here. I think we can teach machines wisdom if we know exactly what we want to teach. Because the difference with humans is that humans have already their own values, even they are children, even they are not experienced, but what we're trying to teach can contradict with it, and human can reject it. But a machine, machines like we construct them, they can just take everything we give them. So if the procedure of teaching is good enough, we can teach them exactly that wisdom, how we understand it. So limit is not that we cannot teach. Limit is we don't understand wisdom completely ourselves to teach it.
Some of the fundamental requirements that we have to understand wisdom, like if someone would teach me wisdom, I would understand it because of some implicit human specific things that machines don't have. Again, things like theory of mind and empathy, like these hardware things, I guess, or these concrete things. And if machines don't have them, then first of all, we cannot directly teach because we don't have a formalization of wisdom. We don't ourselves aware of. And so how do humans teach to each other? Like, how do we do within humans? So within humans, we do by this other like indirect methods of theory of mind or through empathy. We transfer this wisdom through this using these kind of tools. But machines don't have these tools, so they like the receiver, they don't have the receiver. Like humans have receivers, specified receivers, like theory of mind and empathy, but machines don't have these specified receivers that they can use to receive our wisdom that we are giving in some indirect and very vague way. So that's the problem. So basically, since so I guess we need to figure out what is hard, to formalize wisdom or to make artificial receivers, or to make artificial theory of mind, or to make artificial empathy kind of things, so that machines can understand what we are saying. Science of wisdom, we make some, like, we get completely aware of wisdom ourselves. That can be one of the way. But the other way, I guess, that I am following is to make receiver on the machine end, or let machines understand wisdom similar to humans understand wisdom. Like, make machine human, make machines like human, so that they can also understand wisdom like humans.
That can be used to get a human-like intelligence if we simulate that wisdom that human have and simulate all that receivers that will allow us to teach the artificial mind, human-like mind, in the same way like we're teaching humans.
Yeah, we can simulate all the knowledge, but we will also have to simulate some things. Like, this is what I have got stuck at this moment. We also have to simulate empathy, because humans use empathy on a very large scale to gain wisdom, or to make moral values, or to exercise their moral values. Humans use their theory of mind on a very large scale to exercise their moral values. So we'll need these kind of things as well, along with all the theoretical and like knowledge stuff. And also to generate realizations, humans use these kind of things to have realizations of concepts, of realization of philosophy.
One thing that it can be achieved is a full model of human brain, including all the hardwired things that already have them, human have them from birth, hardwired in the brain, so human can start understanding immediately some things like mother or concepts that many animals have too. But there can be other ways, just artificial ways to make the same output, the same empathic responses, but they will be more like artificially constructed. So if we understand how exactly empathy looks like formulated is a big database of knowledge, what inputs could produce which outputs, then we can try to simulate it artificially. But I think it's hard problem, and it can be used to align only human level intelligence, because superhuman will return to the same problem as humans themselves do not have safe values for superintelligence.
Their problem now. They need to figure out. We did our part. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, but what is you are trying to make an article? What is it about? So why do you researching this?
This is my whole field. This is what I have devoted my life to at this moment, to make artificial wisdom. I have already written a project named Data Structure of Wisdom, in which I have defined the fundamental data structures that we can need for wisdom. And currently I'm working on CQE, Computed Quantum Existence, in which I can try to make artificial existence for machines in a way theory of mind, so that machines can also have realizations like human have. And then again I'll move forward to let machines have wisdom. So that this thing that you're saying, this seems even more impossible to me, because simulating whole human brain is a big thing. It's nearly impossible. How can we do that? Even it's one of the quotations that I wrote, that simulation is not reality. Even if we simulate everything, then that will not be real or actual human processing, and that would lead to, and that would have a lot of room for good hearting and chaos. And there was again one quotation: intelligence can simulate wisdom, but wisdom is to not simulate intelligence. So if using the first part, using intelligence, we can simulate wisdom by reading philosophies and all. But the actual wisdom thing is to not simulate intelligence. Like simulation is not what a wise thing is to do, basically.
There are some experiments to simulate some parts of brains of animals, and they were successful. So I think it's possible, even with help of emerging artificial intelligence, if it will go working on the problem, we will maybe sometime have eventually full simulation of human brain, and it will produce the same output as human brain. So, concept of real thing is vague. So if human cannot distinguish where it's human or it's a creature with silicon brain that acts exactly the same way as humans, for human it will not be much difference.
We can have problems like philosophical zombies. If it acts like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it is duck. Like not really.
But probably it will be not be a zombie, because it will have all in programs like consciousness and self-awareness. It will have all the things. So it will be really a duck, but with different construction, different substrate that implements the same function.
Silicon. Okay.
And probably this kind of research is useful, because it can be useful for example, human life extension. If human dies from old age, we can still we need substrate to transform the mind to make human continue living. So that developments can be very useful in the future.
And also, I don't think there will be this problem of super intelligence or super wisdom, because if the intelligence is if intelligence can reach from intelligence to super intelligence using that same silicon brain, then for same can be set for wisdom as well. If we are doing complete brain simulation, then the simulation at that moment could also reach to super wisdom, similar to how the intelligence can reach to super intelligence. But they both should be given equal care and like equal. By care I mean compute. They should be given equal compute, and they should be given equal value. They both should like have the chance to grow equally. If one of them is given more opportunity or preference, then that will grow more than the other one, and then there might be differences and again problems with humans that we have currently, wars.
By super wisdom concept, I think it should be better defined than just the word super wisdom. So it must not be something that a machine develops itself, but it must be a better like moral theory that fits the superintelligence, so it doesn't perform bad actions.
Super wisdom can be defined relative to intelligence, similar to how we can define wisdom relative to intelligence. Like wisdom is something that is helpful to align intelligence, like relative definition. Similarly, super wisdom is something that can help us align super intelligence relatively.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it should just help us align the super intelligence, whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely, and it will be bigger than normal wisdom, because superintelligence needs more guardrails to don't make bad things that humans do. Humans just can't do certain kinds of bad things.
Yeah, that will be one of the solutions. Well, anyhow, it was a good talk, and now I'm getting late for another event. I thought I will not even be able to make one of it.
Thank you very much. That was interesting discussion. Yeah. If you have questions, feel free to contact me, write in LinkedIn, and so on.
I will think about these things more, and then I'll come back to you with more proper responses. Okay?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you for this call. Have a good day. Bye.